Alright, let's begin this lesson by executing our code to bring in our panel into our P variable. And in the last lesson we explored the transpose method, and it was fairly complicated. It's a difficult one to wrap your head around because we have to figure out the index position of each one of our axes within its original panel, and then figure out how we want to swap them and feed it in the exact same order to the transpose method. The swap axes method on a panel is a lot simpler. So let's say we want to repeat the exact same operation we did in the last lesson. We want to take what's currently in the items axis and then put it into our minor axis, and we want to take what's currently in our minor axis and put it into our items axis. That way, whenever we extract, let's say, our items axis, it's going to be a company that we can feed into those square brackets, and we're going to get a data frame where these are going to be the column headers now. So basically reverse the current state of the panel. So I'm going to call the swap axes method. There is no underscore there, so watch out for that. And we always need those parentheses. And now we don't even have to think about the index position of each one of our axes. All we have to do is actually provide the name of that axis and the name of the axis that we'd like to swap it with. So I'd like to swap the items axis. I'm copying it exactly as it is here. And I want to swap it with my minor axis. And now we're going to get a new panel back, and you can see here that these two have been reversed. Open and volume, open to volume, which used to be the 5 values contained in our items, have now become the 5 values in our minor axis. These will now be our column headers. And in our original panel we had the 5 companies represented as the minor axis. Now they're stored as our items axis. So this will be the values that we can give to our brackets in this new panel in order to extract data frames that will have this as the rows and this as the columns. So let's take a look. I'm going to store this in a new P2 variable. Now if I want to extract something like, actually let's do P2.axes just so we always have a reference point. There we go. So now we have everything that we want. So we can just provide the minor axis method and give it a key that represents a valid value in our minor axis. In this new P2 panel, our minor axis is now these values right here. So if I do something like close, that's going to cut that out and just give us a data frame again with the of those axes. You can use the swap axes method and just in a string provide 2 arguments, the axes number 1 and axes number 2, and it's going to flip them around, switch those 2 values within them around. So that's the swap axes method on a pandas panel object.